In today's video, I'm breaking down exactly what's still included for free on both domestic and international flights so you know exactly what to expect and how to prepare for your next flight. Let's kick things off with what drinks you can still get for free. And a few of the things on this list might surprise you. On domestic flights, all three major US airlines, including United, Delta, and American, still offer free non-alcoholic drinks in economy, including water, soda, juice, coffee, and tea. But a little known tip is that you are not just entitled to one tiny drink in one tiny cup. If you ask politely, flight attendants are usually happy to give you the entire can of soda or two drinks like a cup of tomato juice and a glass of water as well. Alcohol on domestic flights isn't free, and you'll need to pay if you want beer, wine, or spirits. Sometimes they aren't even available for purchase. And beyond the standard coffee and tea, there is often also a secret menu that you can order from. You can request hot chocolate, decaf coffee, or even hot water with lemon. These aren't usually advertised on the menu, and you often can't even see them on the beverage cart, but flight attendants can prepare them fresh from instant packets, and they'll typically make these after the main beverage service is complete. I've also seen passengers ask for a glass of milk from the tea and coffee service that is typically meant to go in the tea and coffee. International flights often include everything you would get on a domestic flight and more. Just like with domestic flights, non-alcoholic drinks are unlimited and included, so if you want extra water, juice, tea, or soda during the flight, just ask. Flight attendants will often do mid-flight water runs, but you can also request drinks between these services by using the flight attendant call button above your seat or by heading to the galley area at the back of the plane where cabin crew tend to hang out. You'll also get free house beer and wine, as well as some spirits in economy. And again, don't be shy about asking for a second round if alcohol is offered during meal service. We should also quickly clarify which flight the freebies in this video apply to. Domestic flights include routes within North America and the Caribbean. International flights mean any flight that's between North America and another continent, such as Europe. So a flight from New York to Toronto would be considered a domestic flight, while a flight from New York to Paris would be considered international. Let us know down in the comments which airline you tend to fly with most. For me, it usually happens to be United. I like their service, and they have so many routes available, especially flying from Canada. Next up, let's talk about meals and snacks, because just like with the drinks, there are a few little perks that aren't always obvious. On domestic flights, all three airlines still offer free snacks in economy, but only on flights that are over about 250 to 300 miles, which typically translates to a flight that's going to be over 1 hour of flight time. You'll usually see pretzels, chips, Biscoff cookies, chocolates, or a small snack mix. It's nothing fancy, but it is included and it is for free. And just like with the free drinks, you're often not limited to just one snack. So if you do happen to want both the cookie and the pretzels, you can politely and discreetly, that is key, ask for them both. Assuming there are plenty of extras, you can ask nicely for a second packet, and many flight attendants are happy to hand one over. Also, if you have kids with you, or even if you just mentioned that you missed the snack service, say you were sleeping or in the bathroom, they'll often bring an additional snack to you separately, free of charge. Full meals aren't included on domestic flights, but you can purchase food on board if you'd like something more substantial. On international flights, you'll get a complimentary main meal after takeoff, which usually includes a small salad, bread roll, entree, and dessert. A freebie that many people miss is that most airlines will let you request a special meal, like vegetarian, gluten-free, low sodium, or kosher, if you order in advance at the time of booking your flight ticket or by calling the airline more than 48 hours before your flight's scheduled departure. Anyone can request a special meal, and you don't need to prove that you have any medical need or anything like that. You also won't end up stuck with whatever meal happens to be left over by the time the economy meal service ends up making it to your seat. On longer international flights, like those over 7 hours, you'll typically get a second meal or a snack before landing. This could include a light breakfast or a sandwich. Often it's not going to be a hot meal, but it's still something. Another tip for additional free food is that during long international flights, airlines sometimes set out extra snacks, things like packaged chips, cookies, and even fruit in the galley area. These aren't always announced, so don't be afraid to wander to the back of the plane and check. If you do see a tray of snacks, you can safely assume that these are going to be self-serve and they're going to be free. Next, let's talk about comfort items, as this is one area where what you get and what you don't get can definitely catch passengers off guard. On domestic flights, you should know that pillows and blankets are not provided as a standard item in economy on United, Delta, or American. That said, on longer domestic flights, think red-eyes or transcontinental routes, flight attendants sometimes have a small supply on board. If you do want one, it never hurts to ask politely early in the flight because once they're gone, they're gone. You also shouldn't expect to get an amenity kit or a sleep kit on domestic flights in economy, so if you do want something like an eye mask, toothpaste, toothbrush, or earplugs, you will want to bring your own. The good news is that on international flights, you can often expect a little bit more. United, Delta, and American all provide a pillow and a blanket on long-haul flights to Europe, as well as other continents, and these will typically be waiting for you at your seat when you board. They're not luxurious or honestly good quality at all, but they will get the job done, especially if you use this tip and you take that pillow and you place it on your lower back as opposed to trying to sleep on it. That can make a big difference for in-flight comfort. Delta also goes a step further by offering a basic sleep kit, usually an eye mask and earplugs, to help you get a little bit more rest on overnight flights. While it's great to know what freebies you might get on the flight, smart travelers don't depend on airlines for their comfort. While you may still get free blankets and pillows, these amenities are becoming less reliable, and your preparation before the flight and what you choose to wear on the plane is what is going to make the biggest difference. That's why I've partnered with Unbound Merino on this video, as their merino wool clothing has completely transformed my flying experience. Unlike standard cotton or synthetic fabrics, Unbound Merino's temperature-regulating wool keeps you comfortable regardless of those unpredictable cabin temperatures, whether the airline provides a blanket or not. The fabric also feels incredibly soft against your skin during those long flights when comfort matters most. But what truly sets their clothing apart is the natural odor and wrinkle resistance, which keeps you both feeling good and looking good, even when you arrive at your destination after a long flight. You can find the link in the video description to check out Unbound Merino's clothing for both men and women, and then use the code MEGAN10 at checkout to save 10% on your first order. Also, if you've never tried merino wool before, start with the socks. These socks are surprisingly affordable, and they have absolutely ruined regular socks for me. Now let's move on to in-flight entertainment. And again, there are a few little extras here that you might not know about. On domestic flights, all three airlines will offer free in-flight entertainment in economy. You can stream a selection of movies, including new releases, TV shows, and music to your personal device for free by connecting your phone, laptop, or tablet to the plane's Wi-Fi network. You don't have to pay for full Wi-Fi to access the entertainment. Most newer plane models have seatback screens, especially on Delta and many United and American routes. Have a good look at the selection, since on some airlines you can even access partner content for free, like Spotify curated playlists on Delta, or Apple TV Plus and Apple Music on American. I personally prefer to use the seatback entertainment as opposed to streaming content on my phone. If you forget a pair of wired headphones, don't panic. On most international flights, and sometimes even on domestic ones when the planes have seatback screens, flight attendants will provide you with earbuds for free if you ask. But they aren't very good. United flights do now offer free Bluetooth connection to your wireless set of earbuds on many long-haul flights, so check if you have this option to connect via Bluetooth before you get a wired set from the flight attendant, as the sound quality on your own headset is going to be so much better. For international flights, you'll have access to a full seatback entertainment system with hundreds of movies, TV shows, music, and even games, all for free in economy. Some airlines will even preload language learning content, meditation apps, and sleep soundtracks into the entertainment system. You won't always see these options being promoted, but it's usually found buried in the audio section. If you do tend to feel nervous or anxious when you fly, it is definitely worth checking out. Next up, let's talk about messaging and Wi-Fi, since you might be pleasantly surprised by what you can do for free on a flight in economy. On domestic flights, both United and Delta offer free text messaging on Wi-Fi-equipped planes. You can send messages through apps like iMessage, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger without paying for a full Wi-Fi pass. This is text only, so you're not able to send any images or videos, so if your message isn't going through, check to make sure that it's just plain text that you're trying to send. American Airlines, however, doesn't consistently offer free messaging across its fleet, so it is a bit more hit or miss. On the contrary, Delta really stands out as they now offer completely free Wi-Fi on most domestic flights for anyone who signs up to their free SkyMiles loyalty program. If you fly Delta even occasionally, it's worth signing up since it's completely free, takes 1 minute, and you could even do it on the day of your flight if needed. United also has free Wi-Fi, but it's only going to be available for free to T-Mobile plan holders in economy. Delta and United often extend free messaging to international flights, but American is a little less consistent when it comes to international flights, and it's more likely to charge for Wi-Fi access, including messaging. I am personally not a huge fan of American Airlines. So, in summary, on domestic flights, free messaging is very reliable, while international can vary more, and it's usually available on newer planes and popular long-haul routes, but it's not guaranteed. Next, let's talk about luggage, because nothing ruins a trip faster than a surprise baggage fee. All three airlines allow you to bring one carry-on bag and one personal item for free in standard and premium economy class. Your carry-on should fit in the overhead bin and be no bigger than 22 inches long by 14 inches wide by 9 inches high, and your personal item, like a purse, small backpack, or laptop bag, needs to fit under the seat in front of you on the plane. So while size does matter, there's usually no weight restriction on carry-ons or personal item bags for the majority of US airlines. Not the case in Europe, so be careful if you do plan to take any domestic flights around Europe. However, if you are flying on a basic economy ticket, be aware that United Airlines restricts you to just one personal item. That means that you can't bring a full-size carry-on suitcase for free. On the other hand, Delta and American still permit a carry-on with basic economy, but it's always good to double-check your fare's specifics before you fly. When it comes to checked bags, fees have crept up recently. For most domestic routes, these airlines are going to charge between $35 and $50 for the first checked bag if you pay online at least 24 hours before departure, and then it's possibly going to cost you even more if you wait to pay for your checked bag when you arrive at the airport. If you have the airline's co-branded credit card or some sort of elite status, you might get your first checked bag for free. It's worth checking your wallet and your frequent flyer status before you pay for anything. On international flights, the allowance does tend to be a little bit more generous. Most economy passengers flying to Europe or Asia or any other continent can check at least one bag for free. However, if you are on a basic economy ticket, you might still have to pay for checked luggage. Now let's dive into some miscellaneous freebies that you might not know about. These are the little extras that can make your flight more comfortable without costing you a dime that didn't fit into our previous categories. If you are traveling with kids, most airlines allow you to bring essential baby items like a stroller and a car seat free of charge. These can be checked at the gate or brought on board depending on the size and the airline's policy. And even better is that if your kid is under 2, they can often fly for free on your lap. Ollie is unfortunately 4. Just remember to inform the airline when you're booking and check their specific policies for international travel, as some fees or taxes may apply. You might also be able to get a free travel kit for kids of all ages if you ask the flight attendant. For example, United Airlines offers a children's travel kit featuring an activity book, crayons, a puzzle, and a sensory calming strip, which is a textured surface designed to help soothe anxiety and fidgeting. Flight attendants also often have basic over-the-counter medications like pain relievers in their first aid kits. If you're not feeling your best, don't suffer in silence, as it's never going to hurt to at least ask if there are any medications available. You might also still be able to select a standard economy seat for free during online check-in, which is typically 24 hours before your flight's departure. It's a bit of a gamble, but worth checking to get your preferred seat if you didn't pay for seat selection at the time of booking your flight ticket. Another great freebie for families. Thanks to the new U.S. Department of Transportation rule, airlines are now required to seat families with children under the age of 13 together at no extra charge, even if you are flying on a basic economy ticket. You don't have to pay extra just to sit with your kids, but it is still smart to check your reservation during the online check-in or your check-in at the airport to make sure that your seats have been assigned together. Hot water is also usually available in unlimited quantities on most flights, and if you have been watching this channel for a while, you know that hot water is something I like to get creative with. I personally love to bring a wide-mouth thermos and some packs of instant soup or oatmeal and ask the flight attendant to add some hot water to it to make an instant free hot snack. Since the freebies available to you are going to vary by airline and by flight route, you can get a free sneak preview of what will be available on your specific flight by heading to the airline's website or their app. The key to getting these freebies is simple. Just ask politely. Even if something isn't available, there's no harm in asking a crew member, and they may even be able to suggest an alternative that you didn't realize was available. Keep in mind that every flight is going to be different, but you will 100% never get something for free or even know what you are able to get if you don't take a moment to ask. I'll put a video on the screen now, as well as link it for you in the description to watch next, that goes through exactly what to expect on board a flight this year, from new policies, new rules, and even tech upgrades that you'll definitely want to know about. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join Ollie and I back here for more travel tips and hacks each week, and I will see you in that next video soon. Bye.